Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for all things Liverpool. Big breaking news from Anfield today. As the summer transfer window heats up, Liverpool are going all in with Alexander Isak now emerging as a top priority, while Rodrigo is reportedly at the top of the Reds shortlist. There's also a fresh twist in the Luis Diaz saga, as reactions from Isak's teammates give us more insight into the chase. And let's not forget, Hugo Ekitike opens up on why he snubbed Manchester United to join the mighty Reds and where he sees himself fitting into Klopp's plans. Stay tuned as we break it all down, only here on Reds Fusion LFC. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a transfer update. Liverpool transfer news as Alexander Isak priority emerges and Rodrigo, top of shortlist. Liverpool transfer news as Alexander Isak has reportedly made his preference clear for a new club, while Rodrigo is said to be at the top of the Reds shortlist. Attention will turn to Liverpool's latest pre-season outing today, although fans will still be keeping a close eye on the latest transfer rumours. Arne Slot's side takes on AC Milan in Hong Kong later, with the possibility that new signing Hugo Ekitike could make his first appearance for the club. Having signed the Frenchman, the Reds look far from done in the summer window. Alexander Isak, Newcastle. Alexander Isak wants a move to Liverpool, according to Fabrizio Romano. The striker has of course already told Newcastle he wants to leave, and it might not be a coincidence that his decision came after the Reds' approach last week. Liverpool is said to be the striker's priority now, although it remains to be seen whether Newcastle will make a U-turn on its stance that he is not for sale. Despite some rumours, he is not said to be in talks with Al Hilal, Chelsea or Manchester United. What a coup it would be if Liverpool did manage to sign Isak this summer. There are obviously still plenty of ifs and buts, and Newcastle might prove to be a tough nut to crack. The fact that Isak wants to leave, and may also be set on a move to Anfield, should give Liverpool fans a lot of hope though. What a team Arne Slot would have if the Swedish international joins. Rodrigo, Real Madrid. Rodrigo is high on Liverpool's shortlist should Luis Diaz leave the club this summer, according to ESPN. As talks continue with Bayern Munich, it's claimed that Rodrigo could be Diaz's replacement at Anfield. Richard Hughes is also said to be a big fan of Paris Saint-Germain's Bradley Barcola, although he knows the European champions won't let him go. Meanwhile, a number of names have been ruled out, including Nico Williams, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho and Xavi Simons. Rodrigo though is said to tick a lot of boxes for the Reds. Rodrigo would be an unbelievable replacement for Diaz, although it does feel a bit like this might be a signing too far. Liverpool might have the financial might to pull it off, but this one feels like it might be more of a luxury than a necessity. The Reds should certainly be eyeing up a new centre-back before considering a move for Rodrigo, and it's still not a certainty that the Brazilian will be leaving Real Madrid, although you can bet plenty of clubs will be keeping a close eye on him. Liverpool transfer news, fresh Luis Diaz twist as Alexander Isak teammates make feelings known. Liverpool are being heavily linked with Alexander Isak as the Newcastle star considers his future whilst Luis Diaz's next move is unclear with Bayern Munich ramping up their efforts to sign him. Liverpool's summer has seen them spend more than £200 million but they're being linked with a second British record transfer move in a matter of weeks with Alexander Isak potentially on the move. The Newcastle frontman has expressed a desire to explore his options despite having 3 years to run on his deal at St James Park. The Magpies have made it clear they do not want to sell their leading light, and it would take a mammoth fee to change their mind. Arne Slot has just seen Hugo Ekitike join from Frankfurt to lead their line, but the arrival of Isak could give the Dutchman even more options in the final third. Liverpool still have room within PSR to pursue a move for Isak, if he did ultimately decide to push for the exit door. But it remains to be seen what ripple effects may occur with some of their other frontmen. Here's the latest from Anfield. Bayern ramp up Diaz efforts. Bayern Munich are not giving up in their pursuit of Liverpool star Luis Diaz and have tabled a second bid for the Colombian. The Bundesliga club have made Diaz their top target this summer but saw a bid of £58 million rejected by the Reds, who would rather not sell the player. Talks are being spearheaded by Bayern chiefs Jan-Christian Driesen and Max Eberl, who are keen to upgrade Vincent Kompany's squad to help the team push for even more honors next season. They have put a 4-year deal on the table, and Diaz is keen to make the move to Munich and has told Liverpool he wants to explore a move away, with his contract at Anfield entering its final 2 years and no progress yet being made on any possible extension. Newcastle stars speak out on Isak. Newcastle stars Dan Burn and Bruno Guimaraes have spoken out on the saga surrounding Isak, admitting the striker is going through rough things after he told the club he wants to consider leaving this summer. Isak is one of the most coveted players in the transfer window after a sensational season for the Magpies, where he scored against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Club captain Guimaraes insisted he hoped the player would return for the club ahead of the new Premier League season. Burn said, "Listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I think we can just control what we can control. That's a question for Alex to answer. He's obviously a big player for us, but we do have a lot of quality in the squad as well. Bringing Anthony Elanga in as well, which I think was a great signing. Alex hasn't trained with a thigh issue that's been ongoing since he's been back that first few days." Hugo Ekitike on why he ignored Manchester United and where he will play for Liverpool. New Liverpool signing Hugo Ekitike has spoken after his initial £69 million transfer from Eintracht Frankfurt was confirmed. Chelsea had a little look. Newcastle United made an offer. And Manchester United attempted a hijack. But for Hugo Ekitike, there was only ever going to be one destination after Liverpool expressed an interest in his signature. "For me that was the right choice," says Ekitike. "The way the club works, what I have heard about the people here, the atmosphere, the fans, the stadium, the way they improve players, already champions of the Premier League. It's the best team in England and one of the best teams in the world. So yeah, it was Liverpool." Ekitike became the 7th new arrival of a busy summer for Liverpool when he completed an initial £69 million move from Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday. For the Reds, it brought an end to a pursuit that began back with contact with the players' camp in January and was accelerated by Newcastle making an attempted move last week. A meeting with Arne Slot, though, sealed the deal. "Since I talked to the coach, in my head I was sure about it," says Ekitike. "When you see a coach that can make and improve players, you know you want to be with him and progress because you know he can make you go to the next step. And if you want to go higher, I think it's the right choice to do. We had a very good first discussion together. Obviously the coach is very human, so we could talk not only about football, but about everything. I find him very interesting and I was very pleased to see what I can do with him because I think he is a really nice guy and I can still improve and progress with him. So, yeah, he is a really good coach and good person first, so that's why he made me want to come here." While Ekitike, who began his career at Reims before moving to Paris Saint-Germain, bolstered his reputation during an 18-month stay with Frankfurt by operating as a central striker, Liverpool view the 23-year-old as a more versatile attacking option. And with the Reds interested in a move for Newcastle United forward Alexander Isak, the new arrival has no qualms over where he is used. "I mean, I do what the coach asks me to do," says Ekitike. "But yeah, I like to do everything. I can't define myself only as a striker, who likes to finish. I like to play, I like to be in the game, in the collective part of play, and create also. So, I can do both. I can play alone and I like to play also with another striker, and I think that's what makes me versatile, but you know now in this football you need to adapt." Liverpool role reversed after Alexander Isak's latest move in transfer chase. This week's Blood Red column comes from Hong Kong as Paul Gorst weighs up Liverpool's interest in Alexander Isak. Flash forward 8 years and as the Reds are put through their paces in the Far East once more, it is Alexander Isak whose name is making headlines where the Premier League holders are now concerned. Having sounded out Isak's availability earlier this summer, an adamant Newcastle were insistent that their star striker was simply not for sale. It's difficult to believe such a clandestine inquiry, which was apparently made earlier this month, was not done without a fair idea of the Sweden international's willingness to move to Anfield. However, should the Magpies have entertained the possibility of a fee upwards of £120 million? How much appetite and ability Liverpool have now to resume their fledgling pursuit of the gifted frontman on the back of the latest developments is the major question that, for now at least, lingers on unanswered. Having committed the thick end of £300 million on 7 new arrivals already this summer, the idea of breaking the British transfer record for Isak seems faintly fanciful for a club who have, rightly or wrongly, developed a reputation as cautious and conservative during the player trading months. This summer, though, sees Liverpool firmly in uncharted territory. A freewheeling June already made this window the most expensive in club history before a further £79 million was committed to prize Hugo Ekitike away from Eintracht Frankfurt this week. It had initially looked as though Ekitike was something of a pivot after the hands-off message about Isak, but could both yet join the frontline department at Anfield this summer? For Liverpool to hurdle through the £400 million barrier this summer, however, those drunk on transfer discourse might have to sober themselves and factor sales into the equation. A lot will depend on the movements of those interested in the likes of Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez in that sense. Liverpool are braced for further contact from Bayern Munich, having turned down a bid shy of £60 million recently, and while the Colombia international is not formally in the shop window, Diaz is determined to increase his bottom line and feels he has to move away from Anfield to do just that, with the champions not entertaining talks of a new deal as things stand. Despite the reluctance to offload Diaz, though, the feeling persists that a deal may be struck if Bayern, or other interested parties, offer a fee that is difficult to refuse on Merseyside. That is a subplot that is expected to ramp up in the coming days as the Bundesliga champions mull over their next play. For Núñez, Napoli had been frontrunners, but talk of a move to the Serie A champions has quietened in recent days, while claims of Saudi Pro League interest lingers in the background. Al Hilal made an advance for the Uruguay striker in January but have yet to reignite their interest.